So I got the letter, opened it up. Son, you have been drafted. I'm Eric Hollenbeck. Welcome to Tales from the Ox. Mr. Collins came out in the woods. He was my auto shop teacher, for God's sakes. And he said, Eric has to go back to school. Not for the law, not for the school, not for none of that stuff. All of that stuff's baloney. He has to go back to school for himself so that years from now he doesn't feel less than because he didn't complete something. And my boss said, that sounds absolutely right to me. Eric, you go with Mr. Collins here. And the instant you got your diploma, you graduated, you get right back out here because your job's sitting right here waiting for you. So that's what I did. So I graduated in 1966. I don't remember going up and getting nothing. I don't think I did that part of it, but I got my diploma. I got my diploma in 1966. So it's 1967, late. No, can't be late. Has to be middle of 1967. I'm out surveying, and I'm maybe 18. I think it was 18. And I have got my own crew. An 18-year-old got his own crew. And we are a cross-section crew. And there's 4 of us. And we're doing a preliminary line, P-line. And we're doing the cross-sections over it. I had worked my way up that far already. And they gave me, was a Dodge. What was it called? A Ram Charger. 4-wheel drive. It was brand spanking new. I mean, we had it for, the company had it for, say, 4 months. It was bright red. God, I will never forget that dang thing. And I worked for Larson and McMillan, Oscar Larson and Bo McMillan. And Oscar was so proud of this truck. Oh my God. We'd bring it in because we worked 5 days in the woods, camped out in the woods, and then come in for 2. Or sometimes, lots of times, but sometimes we'd work 10 days on and 4 days off. It just depended on the job, how far away it was. This was a 5-day on, 2-day off job. And Oscar would come in on the weekends and wash the truck. That's how proud he was of it. This was, and the party chief, the bull boss, told me, don't scratch it. For God's sakes, don't do anything to it. Drive it very, very carefully. And, but yes, I did that. I did it. But I found a shortcut to the line that we were surveying for the timber access road. And I could go up a skid road to a little flat, and we cut off way more than half a mile walking. And when we're walking with all our gear, plus stakes, plus all of this stuff that we're walking. It's a big deal. So I did that. And we went up there, parked on the hill. We did that 4 or 5 times. Perfect. I mean, everything worked perfect. Now, I have to tell you, folks, what a skid road is. A skid road ain't a real road. A skid road is a place that a Caterpillar tractor crawls its way down the hill hauling logs. It ain't made to be a real road. And a Caterpillar's got good traction and all of that, you know. I mean, they got cleats going in, all of it. But we had a 4-wheel drive power wagon. That's what it was. Dodge Power Wagon. I knew I'd get it. And we're doing this. It's Friday. We're going to go home tomorrow morning. We're going to have dinner tonight and go home tomorrow morning. And I got a 4-man crew. And we're all in the truck. Dodge Power Wagon, red, bright red and shiny. And I start over the bank, going down this skid road. Now, I get it. I get it, all you teenagers. I totally get it. I've been driving on the roads for almost 2 years. I think I can talk and drive at the same time. Come on now. I completely get it. We feel like we can, but the reality is we ain't doing either one of them but 50%. We ain't talking and we're all laughing or driving, and we're all laughing and stuff about what we're going to do this weekend, and it's all great. And well, this road's on shale coming down. Happens to be called serpentine in our country here. It's on serpentine. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I see I'm going too fast. You see the 50% over here kicked in, and I hit the brakes, only I hit the brakes too hard because I'm 17, almost 18. And maybe I was 18. I bet you I was 18. Just. And I hit the brakes. too hard and locked up all four wheels. Well, now we got no traction at all. This four-wheel drive rig has got all four wheels locked up, and we're just sliding on this serpentine. The shale's just going out underneath us. Makes no difference at all. And I have to make a bend, a hard 90-degree bend at the bottom to get on the real road, the logging road. That is the real road. That's the road the trucks are on. I tried to swing wide and make the bend as, oh hell, I just did that. Not because I knew, but you know. And we rolled over. But we rolled all the way over and back on our wheels again. Okay. Everybody in the rig is fine. Nobody even got a scrape or a scratch or nothing. Everybody's fine. We get out. We police up all of our equipment. And our equipment was okay. We hadn't damaged anything. It just flung out and put all that back in. However, Oscar's pride and joy now has no windshield. Because the windshield blew out when the roof caved in. Because we went over on our top. I didn't scratch it very much. I pretty much ruined it. But it started. I lit it up, it started. So we, I don't remember if we loaded the windshield in the rear or not. I bet you we didn't. I bet you we left that in the woods. And we come back to camp, and the party chief, the bull boss, I thought he was going to be furious, and he wasn't. He just said, Eric, you have to take this back to Oscar. You, yourself. Okay. So I drove back home with no windshield in the rig all smashed down and everything. And it was I don't know, 45-minute drive, whatever. It doesn't matter. And I got back home. I got back to Eureka, but before I got back, my house is over here. So I swung into my house. Nobody's home. Mom and Dad and Lonnie are gone. And sitting on the table is a letter from the U.S. Army made out to me. So I got the letter, opened it up. Son, you have been drafted. You are to report here and here and here. Because this is they had just started the draft. I don't know when, 68, say. Or I'm sorry, 60, 66, 65, I don't know. Well, I was one of the low numbers. I have no idea what number. I didn't keep track of any of that stuff. It didn't matter to me. It should have, but it didn't. And And I saw that draft notice. And I have to go next week to Oakland, California. So I put that letter in my pocket. And I drove this mangled, broken truck to the shop. And Oscar's there. Of course he's going to be there. I mean, how else would the story work? I mean, he was there. God. And I didn't say anything. And Oscar walked around the truck, all the way around it. Never said a word. And I could tell he is fuming. Fuming. This is a volcano ready to explode. This is Mount St. Helens. He is fuming all the way around the truck and got back to me, and I didn't know what else to do. And I reached in my pocket and I said, Oscar, I just got drafted. He looked at that letter, looked up to me and said, good thing, and turned around and walked away. His pride and joy was ruined. And, how many years had he worked to buy a new rig? And this stupid kid had just demolished it. And that's all he had to say. Good thing. Then I went to Oakland, and they said, boy, you're healthy as a horse, and glad to have you, my friend. Here's your next papers. And I went to Fort Lewis, Washington. Ben, I can't tell you. Oh my God. It's December or January. I was just 18. I had just turned 18 because it was in the winter. And Fort Lewis, Washington is under the shadow of Mount Rainier. I don't know if you folks know Mount Rainier, but I think it's got a glacier on it. Fort Lewis, Washington was cold. You can't believe how cold it was. Oh my God. It was, here I am, a California kid, and we're tucked up in here in the office because we can't go out in the shop because it's 39 degrees. That's way too cold out there. This was like 1,000,000 degrees below zero. This one, God. Holy Toledo. And that was basic training. And the first thing they did was cut off all our hair, shave our heads, and then, and I had long hair. I mean, longer. I had a Dutch boy. God. Oh, this is so embarrassing. My hair was cut around here, up, over my eyes, and down. I had a Dutch boy. I remember that there were two of us in Eureka High School in my year before the senior year. They came to school with long hair. That's when the Beetle came out, and we grew our hair out. And I was taking 3 hours of auto shop, and they made me put a hairnet on my head to take auto shop. Oh my God. It was huge. It was, rebellious, hugely rebellious. Oh my gosh. To the point of a hairnet. Well. And so I get to Fort Lewis, and they shave my head, and that's fine. And what they're doing is trying to introduce you to the idea, the reality, not idea, the reality that you are not an individual. You are not. You are part of the team, the entire team. That's your reality. The team is the reality. And God dang, they're good at it, Ben. The military's good at it, really good at it. They've had it a long time, I suppose. From AIT, no, I'm sorry. From basic training in Fort Lewis, under that god dang mountain with snow on it. Jeez. I remember one time on the firing range, I was shaken so bad from being cold. God dang it, I was shaken. And the sergeant comes down the path, and he says, "Private, quit shaking. You can't hit the broadside of a barn shaking. Quit shaking." And he moves on, and this lieutenant comes down. God bless you, gentlemen. And the lieutenant looks at me and he says, "Private, if that shaking warms you up at all, you keep shaking. You're fine." He says, "You know what I'm going to do?" He said, "I only have 2 more months in the Army. I'm going to retire. And when I retire, I'm going to buy one of these." And we were using M1s for target, and that we didn't get to the M16s yet. He says, "I'm going to buy one of these M1s. And I'm going to have a bronze. And then I'm going to pee on it. And I'm going to put it over my mantelpiece. And I'm going to laugh the entire time that thing corrodes away." And you guys think I'm kidding. This is what he told me. So if you want to shake, you shake, Private. If that helps you warm up, you shake. Oh, God. I've been so lucky my whole life that things like that one little, what did that take? 30 seconds? That one little 30-second made me feel like I was okay. From from Fort Polk. I got through Fort Polk fine. And you have to understand, folks, that this was your country asking you to do something. For the people that said no, God bless you. I have no problem with you. None in the world. I just I didn't know to do that. I just, or I don't know. It just wasn't in my makeup. I think that's a better way to say it. That I was asked to do something, I just did it. Hell, I've been working in the woods all this time, and they had me do stuff, and it was very natural to me. So then from Fort Polk, no, doggone it, from Fort Lewis, Washington, came home for a week, met a lady at a party that the story will come out later, Susan. And I mean, just talk to her. That's all I did. Met a lady at a party, and and then had to go in the next morning and take the bus and go to maybe it wasn't a bus, maybe it was an airplane, I don't know, and go to Fort Polk, Louisiana. So that was basic training. That's just to get you introduced to being part of a bigger team, a piece of a bigger team. You know, I'm old enough now to see the process that they went through. And Fort Polk, Louisiana was AIT training, advanced infantry training. See, I was a grunt. You know, come on. I have in my number to get picked, you know, for the draft. I'm a partial high school dropout. I got no even inclination to go to college. I got no wife and kids. I got none of that stuff. Well, who you think the Army's going to get? that was a no-brainer. And that's why I got drafted at 18. And I turned 19 at Fort Polk, Louisiana. So we go to Fort Polk, advanced infantry training. You're going to be a grunt. You're going to be infantry, and God bless you. All right. So we do all that. That's where I met Walter Reed, a really big black man that, God, he was my mentor. But every say 2 weeks, I don't remember. Maybe once a month. I don't remember. We got a 2-day leave. Now I have to make this more clear to you folks. I'm a Eureka kid. I haven't ever been anywhere. I've been in Eureka and in the woods. That's my total. So I am a country bumpkin beyond belief. I'm a country bumpkin. Everything that I'm seeing and everything I tell you is permeated with that. It's the foundation. I couldn't get my eyes open wide enough. I'd never seen any of this. Before I went to basic training, I never seen a black man. Never talked with a black man. I've never seen any of this. I'm Eureka. And it was pretty amazing. So I'm just in awe everywhere. And they would have, say, you could go on leave for 2 days. Are you kidding me? I don't know how to do that. That is so far out of my bailiwick. No, come on. And I would just sleep. I just go in my bunk and sleep all day. It was great. Well, I met Walter Reed. And Walter, like I said, he was a very big black man, very big. And turns out he was a heavyweight fighter and got drafted and was in there with me. Nicest guy you were ever going to want to meet. God, he was just a dreamboat. And towards the end of my AIT, one weekend, he says, we got leave. Are you going? No, sir, no. Everything's okay. I'm good. Come on, Eric. You got to come with me. We're going to go to Shreveport, Louisiana. Okay. Do you know where Shreveport, Louisiana is? Thank you, Ben. I had no idea what he's even talking about. Shreveport probably has a bay and shrees come in. I don't know what a shree is, but lots of shrees come in and out of that. But he told me we have to do it. So we're in our dress greens, absolute dress greens, because that's how you had to leave the base. And we get in the bus, and the bus takes us to Shreveport, which turns out ain't very far away from Fort Polk. Shreveport, and it's Sunday, and he says, let's walk around. And we walked up and down the streets of Shreveport, and everything's closed up, of course. Of course, it's Sunday, you know. But it's nice, and I'm enjoying everything. And then he says, come with me. And we go in to a grocery store, and it was open. And he buys a watermelon. And he says, come on, let's have some watermelon. It's a hot day. It's in the middle of winter, and it was. Shreveport could go from a day so hot. I saw this with my own eyes. A day so hot, the military let us break uniform and take our shirts off down to our t-shirts. And the next day we woke up to 2 inches of snow on the ground. I mean, not Shreveport, Fort Polk. Fort Polk's crazy. Fort Polk is, I ain't got all the oars in the water. So anyway, it's a warm day, and Walter buys this watermelon, and then we go and sit on the steps, the concrete steps on each side of the courthouse. He said, let's eat this watermelon. Well, I don't know how to do that. I ain't got no knife. And how do we cut this open? He says, I'm going to show you. And he takes that watermelon on the corner of the balustrade, all concrete, and he bashes it against a wall, and it splits open. And then he takes his half and sticks his face into it and starts eating the watermelon. I thought, you're the big guy. You're the one that knows stuff. I don't know nothing, and must be the way to do it. And I did it. It was the best watermelon I have ever eaten in my whole life. I got watermelon juice all down my dress greens. I mean, we are a sloppy mess. And that was the absolute, without a doubt, best watermelon I have ever eaten my whole life. Moved back up 50 years. I've told that story to my daughters, and we're in Hawaii, and we get a watermelon and do the same thing. And they said that's the best watermelon they've ever eaten in their whole life. Somehow getting your nose and your face and your all over. Gosh. Anyway, the point being is that I was completely innocent. Everybody in the world knew more than I did. In the whole world. So it's hard for folks that are watching this from the city to get a grip on this, because you guys are more worldly. You've got some idea of how things work. It's that farm boy that has spent his whole life on the farm. That was me. I spent my whole life in the woods. You want to get through the woods, I can tell you how to do it in a heartbeat. I cannot get lost. I got this. I am on this. And the rest of it, I just can't get my eyes open wide enough to see it, because it's too much. That was a real awakening and an end of innocence. That's why all of the stories that I'm going to tell about Vietnam are through a tinted pair of glasses, because I'd never seen any of this. You could get drafted and you could be a mail clerk. Not that there's anything wrong with mail clerks. God bless you, mail clerks. I'm just saying that there is a myriad of jobs. That's what makes me so angry about combat veterans saying the rear echelon, it doesn't meet up with us. It's a chain. It is a chain you have to pull. Try to push a chain sometime, folks. Try to do that. It's a chain, and every one of those links has to hold, has to be there for the chain to work. We happen to be out here at the tip of the spear, but you have to have the handle of the spear to make the spear worth a hoot. Otherwise, if you ain't got the handle, you have to do a little pokey thing. Come on. Yeah. So it could have been anything that happened. So I get to Vietnam, and I would like to tell that story, but I get to Vietnam, and then they say, Eric, you go up to the 101st Airborne. Out of nowhere, I am the only passenger in the C-140 going up there. They got goods and stuff, but I'm the guy. And they dumped me off. How did that happen? I didn't volunteer for nothing. I sure as heck didn't volunteer to go to the 101st. I didn't volunteer for nothing. Never put my hand up, never nothing. Well, Ben, I did. Unbeknownst to me. Remember Fort Polk, Louisiana? AIT training, advanced infantry training. The last thing you do is this obstacle course, not last, but and I looked around me, Ben. Holy crap, these are powder puffs. They're like college kids, and I've been in the woods for 3 years, working in the woods hard. I could ace this thing. God, what an idiot, Eric. My mom raised an idiot, and it was me. So I did. Well, how long did it take the military to figure that out? I was the highest score of the folks graduating in Fort Polk that year. I mean, not year, that rotation. Well, how long did it take the military? The military ain't stupid. There ain't nothing stupid about the military. So that's how I got picked to go to the 101st. A company of the 101st, yeah. See, I did volunteer. I just didn't know it. But that's the delightful thing about being young, ignorant, not stupid, young, ignorant, and innocent. You just go for it. And by going for it, folks, especially you young guys out there and young gals out there, please hear this. This is the time to go for it, because you have no idea where it is, but you're curious. And by the time you're 30, some of that has eroded away. By the time you're 40, you're finished. I shouldn't say that. Jump. Who knows where it's going to take you? Who knows where the leap's going to take you? Yeah, this is the time in your life to take some risks. You ain't got a mortgage yet. You ain't got a family yet. You ain't got the taxes breathing down on you yet. Blah, 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 blah. Do it. Do it. This is the time right now. Even if it winds you up on the front lines of Vietnam. And I wouldn't trade that for anything. Not all of the gold in China. My time in Vietnam, I wouldn't trade for anything. That was mine. I earned that, and I did that. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And you can also watch videos here and here.